Hi everyone, very good evening and welcome back to CAIIB Grade B. So in today's session, we are going to talk about skill development related schemes, right? What have been the different kinds of schemes that have been launched for the purpose of skill development, okay? There will be rural components as well, there will be urban components as well, and we'll be talking about all sorts of skill development related schemes, but in shorts, and we'll be talking about only about the points which matters to us. So let us start with the number one scheme that we have in our hand called as Skill India Mission. Let's see this. So this particular mission, when was it launched? What are the scheme objectives of this particular mission? These are all the things that we need to discuss, right? So Skill India Mission, it was launched in the year 2015, you see. What was the intention? So it covers short-term training, long-term training, apprenticeship training, right? Apart from that, skill development, entrepreneurship, and some of the other skill programs of the union ministries. Now, the number of operational skill development centers under the program is given below. It includes various initiatives. Now, Skill India Mission is the overarching mission, and there are various sub-components under this. Now, what are the other components? First of all, National Skill Development Mission we have. Then we have National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, जिसको launch किया गया था 2015 में. Post that, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana and Sector Skill Council, which you can take as implementing agency of this particular Skill India mission, right? Now let's talk about its components. So Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana 3.0. This is the newest version, has been launched in the year 2021. What are the objectives? Objectives are really given, right? We all understand the objectives. So promoting the sustainable skill centers for the greater participation, as well as benefiting 8 lakh youths across the country. So this is the intention of this particular mission, right? 717 districts have been covered. 729 PM Kaushal Kendras are there. Now outlay is 948 crore. Duration 2020 to 2021. The scheme shall initiate the creation of the framework in the second phase, that is going to last from the year 2021 till 2026, right? So right now we are in the second phase of this particular scheme. Now what are the targets of it? So it aims to target total these 8 lakh candidates. Short-term training and recognition of prior learning, these are two different components, not something which you need to learn, but yes, you have to understand that these are the two components. ठीक है, ये numbers को एक बार even though you can ignore, but you have to remember that these are the twin components. Short-term training and recognition of prior learning, these are the two components under the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Implementation structure is something which is not important, so hence I am skipping it. Components of scheme, that is something important, and we are going to talk about it. See, so components of the scheme, number one, we have short-term training. यहाँ पे देखिए क्या हो रहा है. The training under these courses generally range from 200 to 600 hours. That means 2 to 6 months. The courses are National Skill Qualification Framework aligned, right? So there needs to be some standards when you are imparting skills. तब कुछ standards होने चाहिए, and that is what we are saying, that the courses that are being provided under the short-term training, these are NSQF aligned, right? Now next is component 2, that we have recognition of prior learning. If you know something from early on, we are going to provide a certificate for that to you, so that you can use it and you have something institutional to show your learning. So for that matter, recognition of prior learning, it mainly focuses on the individuals who are engaged in unregulated sector, obviously, क्योंकि लोग सीखते कब हैं, जब वो काम करते हैं, and this majorly happens in the unregulated sector. So it is quite given. Now recognition of prior learning, it is applicable on any candidate who is of age 18 to 45 years, has a prior experience in the job role for which they want the certification. Okay. Now this is the administrative related structure of the scheme. So there will be a steering committee, executive committee, project management unit. Now this is something which is not important from your examination perspective, so let us leave that. We need to talk about the key features of this particular scheme. इसके बारे में जो है हमें बात करनी है. National Skill Development Corporation, it shall provide the IT and technical support in convergence with Skill India portal. It is also mandatory for the students to maintain 70% of attendance. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras, they are going to act as a nodal centers for providing the employment related support. Biometric attendance will be taken through Aadhaar enabled biometric attendance system, and the center validation is going to be done by the third party, right? So these were few of the things. Now talking about the additional benefits. See, in the additional benefits, what do we have? One-time incentives for the successfully certified candidates, 500 rupee per candidate would be provided. Convenience cost for the women, physically disabled people, transgender and the deprived group as per the socio-economic caste census of 2011. If they are outside home districts, 1500 would be provided. Home district mein 1000 rupee would be provided. So these are few of the features that you can choose to remember when we are talking about the Kaushal Vikas program. Now moving ahead towards the other program, and here one more thing. There is a provision of post placement stipend as well for women, physically what you can say disabled people, transgenders and the deprived group, 1500 per month per candidate, and additional support for the disabled candidate at the rate of 5000 rupees towards the assisted devices, aid and appliances. Moving ahead towards our next component, that is National Skill Development Mission. Again, whenever we'll be talking about the skill development, this mission remains at the center. Okay? So let's talk about it. The National Skill Development Mission, it was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister on the occasion of World Youth Skills Day to provide a strong institutional framework at the center and states for implementation of skills activities. Right? What are the institutional mechanisms? Let us see this. Not really important. Institutional mechanism is not something which you need to focus on. You have to focus on the features of the scheme or what the scheme intends to provide, right? So let us see this over here. National Skill Development Agency, it is an autonomous body which is registered under the Societies Registration Act 1860. It was created in the year 2013 with the mandate to coordinate and harmonize the skill development related activities in the India. Followed up, we have one another organization that you can call as National Skill Development Corporation. It supports the mission through capacity building, implements skill voucher program, promotes center of excellence, and initiates sector skill councils which impart actual learning. So this is the work of National Skill Development Corporation under your skill development mission. Now something about the National Skill Development Corporation, that is also we have to see. Number one thing, it is a not for profit. That means profit is not the orientation for this particular organization. Not for profit, public limited committee, which has a company which has been incorporated in the year 2008, right? Set up by Ministry of Finance. It is an important fact. Government of India through the Ministry of Skill Development, it holds 49% of the share capital in this particular company, that is National Skill Development Corporation. So there is a kind of what you can say twist over here. This particular corporation, it was set up by Ministry of Finance, but the ownership rests with Ministry of Skill Development. ठीक है, Skill Development Ministry के साथ में इसकी ownership है. Now what are the other initiatives under this particular scheme? Let us see them as well. So Kaushal and Rozgar Mela, it is organized by National Skill Development Corporation, right? What are the key points under this? So Rozgar Mela, one It is a half day event where the several employers they come as well as job seekers they come together in order to provide the jobs to the unemployed people. So this is also one of the initiatives that has been taken, so that once you have provided the skill, after that what, right, uske baad aap kya karoge. So this is something which is the intention. Next is sector skill council. So sector skill council, these are one of the major pillars under this particular corporation. They act as an autonomous body and they could be registered as a section 8 company or the society. Now next we have Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendras. So what is the intention of Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra? The intention is obviously to implement the Skill India mission. That is the foremost thing. Now, who's the implementing agency? So National Skill Development Corporation is going to provide the expenditure, provides the funding support in form of secured loan up to a maximum of 70 lakh per Kaushal Vikas Kendra. Right? So this is an important fact. For the establishment of Kaushal Vikas Kendra, there is a support of 70 lakhs that is being provided by the National Skill Development Corporation. It is going to provide a secured loan up to a maximum of 70 lakhs at an applicable rate of interest, that is 6%, 3% or 0% depending on the category. Now what is the category? It is districts are divided as per the category. ठीक है, अलग अलग districts को अलग अलग category दी गई हैं. Now this is it in this particular scheme that you have to remember. Now we have to move forward and we have to talk about another scheme that we have in our hand. This is National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme, right? Was launched in the year 2016. Why it is there? So that people while they are learning, they can learn job related skills as well, right? So what are the amendments in the, there has been certain amendments in Apprenticeship Act. Government has brought comprehensive amendment to make it more attractive for the industry as well as for the youth. Now what have been the changes, that is not something we need to care about. ठीक है, ये मैं आपको इसलिए बता रही हूँ, when you are doing it on your own, you do not have to focus on that. So unit wise regulation of apprenticeship with a band of 2.5 to 10% of the total workforce. These are some changes that has been done under the Apprenticeship Act. Establishments having a workforce between 4 to 29, this is optional. Having a workforce of 3 or less are not permitted to engage the apprentice. When your permanent workforce is already less, then we are not going to allow you to employ apprentice as well. Now next is what about components? So sharing 25% of prescribed stipend subject to a maximum of 1500 per month per apprentice with the employers. Number one. Stipend support would not be given during the basic training period, and basic training cost in respect of apprentice who come directly to apprenticeship training without any formal trade training. So basic training cost would be limited to 7500 for a maximum of 500 hours or 3 months. So these are some of the components under this apprenticeship scheme. Implementation would be done by the under the control of Directorate General of Training. Now, who are the employers who are eligible? See, so employers are going to engage the apprenticeship in the band of 2.5 to 10% of the total strength. How many permanent workforce is there, right? How much of permanent workforce is there? You are going to count and you can employ the apprenticeship in the band of 2.5% to 10%. Employers, they must have EPFO, ESIC, factory or cooperative or MSME registration number. That means they should be registered entity in order to employ the apprenticeship. They must also have the tax identification number, right? Now, who is eligible to act as an apprenticeship, as an apprentice? So, apprentice must fulfill following requirements. Must have completed 14 years of age, number one, right? must have fulfilled other requirements of Apprentice Act 1961. They must have to register on the portal, must have Aadhaar number, and number of apprentice may be up to 20% of the target in a year. So these are the eligibility requirements for the apprentice, and then there are eligibility requirements for the employer as well. When you are employing someone to train, then you have to follow certain guidelines and you have to remember this, right? Now duration of your apprentice training, now this is not something which you need to focus, so you can choose to ignore this, although it has been given. So it is good for just one time read, otherwise you can choose to ignore this. Now next we have Sankalp. Although this program has expired, but yes, let us see the basic introduction of it, right? So what are the, what you can say, basics of this, that's what I am telling you over here, because was launched in the year 2018 and it was a 6-year implementation period ending on March 23. Now what were the aims under this? So to address the challenges like infusing quality in skill development program, etc., etc. The outcomes will be measured through results framework and disbursement linked indicators. Funding has been provided. Now what were the major interventions under this? So you see, the aim of this particular program was institutional strengthening, quality assurance, right, and including the marginalized population into the skill development program. Now who were the beneficiaries of it? Let us see that as well. So any candidate of Indian nationality engaged or working in the job or role sector identified for the recognition of prior learning, possessing an Aadhaar card and fulfills other criteria related to work experience, etc., as has been defined by the Sector Skill Council. Now, if you will see this really carefully, although this particular program is no longer there, but what this program was doing to improve the quality, right? Quality improvising was one of the major intervention over here, and you will see any person was eligible who has been identified under the recognition of prior learning in any camp in the village, right? So in the village setup, if any person has been identified that okay, this person is having some amount of learning, then that person would be eligible under the Sankalp as well. Now next we have the skill strengthening for the industrial value enhancement, that is STRIVE program. Now let us see quickly what were the objectives of it. Okay? So whenever any program is international entity assisted, this becomes important for us to remember. So STRIVE program has got World Bank assistance, right? What were the objectives? To improve the efficiency of skill training that has been provided to industrial training institutes, or also called as ITIs. ठीक है, ITIs के थ्रू जो भी ट्रेनिंग प्रोवाइड की गई है, we want to improve efficiency of that, and that was the intention of STRIVE. Implementation is through Ministry of Skill Development, state governments, industrial training institutes, centrally funded institutes as well. It is a 5-year program, extends till 2022. Central sector scheme, budget outlay has been provided, right? And what were the results of it? So improved performance, a total of 500 ITIs would be covered under the project. So this was a small intervention, and it follows the program for result instrument of the World Bank. Now these kind of programs, they do bring changes at rural setup. You will see ITIs are all over there, but in the rural areas, the what you can say, use of ITIs or use of polytechnics is very much high, है ना? So let's move ahead and talk about India International Skill Center Network. So it is the nodal platform where international workforce mobility opportunities for Indians are being provided. Now, as far as this particular network is concerned, what I would suggest is that you just remember the purpose of it. That's it. Okay? Because it does not merges well with the whole syllabus that we are looking at. लेकिन फिर भी the heading as well as the purpose you should know about it. So India International Skill Center, just know that okay, it is a platform where international workforce mobility related opportunities are being provided, right? So sometimes what happens, the people, let us go through this only. So it is Government of India's plan to make the India as a skill capital of the world. It will be a fee-based market-driven model, right? And it will work for the global workforce supply as well as the demand dynamics. There are so many people, software-related professionals, as well as other kinds of, for example, the people who are doing even the manual work. There are skill with everyone, and if we are able to create a list of all those people, right, if we are able to create the list of all those people, then it would helpful for us as a nation as well as for the people who are having a list over there, है ना? तो ये it would create what you can say a database for the employers as well as for the people or for the citizens of India who want to get hired. Okay, let's move forward. You can see the areas of operations: Gulf Cooperation Council, Japan, Russia, Southeast Asia, we are cooperating with them. North American region, Australia, New Zealand. So right now NSDC, that is your Skill Development Corporation, is actively working in the markets like Japan through technical intern training programs as well as the GCC countries. Next we have the skill impact bonds. So this is also something which is important, and let us see this. Right, so the Skill India Impact Bond, this is going to support 50,000 young people in India over 4 years, 60% of whom going to be women as well as the girls. Now this is the initiative of obviously National Skill Development Corporation. See, institution type of National Skill Development Corporation, please remember it. ठीक है, किस तरीके का इंस्टीट्यूशन है? इट इज सेटअप बाय मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस. Who what is the shareholding of the Ministry of Skill Development in it? These are the basic ideas that you should be having. बस इतना ही दो चीजें आपको याद रखनी है. Collaboration is being done with HRH Prince Charles British Asian Trust as well as Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, the Children's Investment Fund Foundation, HSBC India, JSW Foundation, Dubai Cares, etc., etc. Do we need to remember all of that? The answer is totally no. But yes, once you have read this, you will have an idea that okay, Skill Impact Bond has been launched by NSDC, and then there are a lot of international agencies which are working in collaboration. And a fund and duration, so the coalition has brought together a US dollar $14.4 million funds to benefit 50,000 young people over 4 years. If you remember that much, this will be what you can say, you will be able to sail through, right? Nothing much is what you can say required out of it. Next we have the Skills Hub initiative. Ministry of Skill Development as well as Ministry of Education. What this Skill Hub initiative is offering, NSQF aligned vocational courses. What kind of vocational courses gives you ability to what you can say work while you are learning, है ना? So in school students, that is class 9th to 12th, they shall be offered vocational offering. School dropouts, those who have dropped out in between 6th to 12th class, they would also be offered vocational training. So what I want from you is you should be able to link between Skills Hub and vocational courses. ठीक है? Skills Hub initiative is to provide vocational courses for all people, for the students who are still studying, that means in school students as well as the people who have dropped out, right? So school dropouts, they are also eligible, as well as out of education candidates, we are also providing vocational skill certificates to them. Now Skills Hub pilot project. So as a step towards implementing integrated skill through Skill Hub, a pilot is being launched from January 1st, 2022 at out of education candidates. Now what is the implementation? Under the central component of Kaushal Vikas Yojana through National Skill Development Corporation with the support of state skill development missions, this is being implemented. Okay. Now let us see the key points of this particular thing. So Skills Hub, they are going to associate with the education and skilling institutions over a district, right? Over a cluster of adjacent district. Initial phase में 5,000 such hubs would be established where schools, Kaushal Vikas Kendra, ITIs, engineering colleges, polytechnics, rural self-employment training institutes, etc., etc. Now the running capacity for single batch of the training center shall be minimum of 15 candidates to a maximum of 40 candidates. Next we have Project Amber. Now, Project Amber aims to train 30,000 youth, 50% of whom are going to be women trainees. The training would be conducted in post-COVID resilient job roles over a period of 2 years, right? And this particular project is co-funded by Ministry of Skill Development under the Sankalp program. Now, next we have a short thing called as Skill Loan Initiative. So let us see this as well. What we are doing over here, Skills Loan Initiative, as the name itself suggests, right? It provides institutional credit to individuals for the skill development courses that are aligned with the NSQF framework. So basically, this is important to remember that yes, there is a skill loan initiative under which institutional credit is being provided. It is applicable to all the member banks of Indian Bank Association. Now, what are the salient features for the guidelines for the banks to operate this? So, courses are aligned to NSQF, that is number one thing. Quantum of finance is going to be between 5,000 to 1,50,000. No minimum duration of the course is, there is no such requirement, right? And repayment period between 3 to 7 years basis the amount of loans. Now, what are the category of loans? Up to 50,000 would be provided for up to 3 years. Loans between up to 1 lakh would be for 5 years and above than 1 lakh could be provided up to 7 years. Now these are something which is called as the what you can say scheme guidelines, है ना? These are all scheme guidelines. Now moving ahead and talking about few other important things. Number one is your Jan Shikshan Sansthan. So what is the mandate over here? You will see vocational skills, non-formal mode to non-literate or neo-literates or the persons who are having basic what you can say skills or the reading capabilities. The age group target is between 15 to 45 years. Now the history, it has been formerly known as the Shramik Vidyapeeth, right? Since scheme of Jan Shikshan Sansthan was consequently transferred to Ministry of Education, right? Now it is with Ministry of Skill Development. It is implemented through NGOs and Jan Shikshan Sanstans. They are registered under the Societies Act. And lastly, we need to talk about the national policy on the skill development. So launching of the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana for imparting short-term skills training, setting up sector skills councils, implementing Sankalp program, and then we have National Skill Development Fund. It has been set up by the Government of India in the year 2009. To attract the funds from industry, companies, it will be encouraged to spend more than 25% of their CSR directly or through the National Skill Development Fund, right? So this was something which was important out of your skill development related things, right? There are a lot of things that have been launched for the skill development initiatives, and these were some of the what you can say the core of the schemes for the skill development related thing. This is it for this particular class. I hope you would have understood something out of it. If you did, then please do not forget to like this video, and thank you so much.